G'day, Mark Rothfield from Club Marine TV, about to go for a run on the new Greenline 45 Fly. She's big on features and built to go long distances on very little fuel. So come for a run with us. Let's start with Greenline Yachts itself. They're based in Slovenia, which is probably better known for its mountains and its lakes, although it is based on the Adriatic Sea. And they really do pride themselves on being green. For the naval architecture, they've collaborated with J&J Design. They're also based in Slovenia, but they work for the likes of Aquila, Sunseeker, Fairline and others. So they're really respected in international yachting. Joined by Peter Rones, Managing Director of E-Yachts, importers of Greenline boats for the past decade. And firstly, Peter, tell us what makes Greenline so green.
Well, I guess they're the pioneers of the hybrid boat, which they've been around for, 14 years now. And not just the solar, but now they've come out with electric. So they've been a hybrid company basically most of their life, but then more recently, the smaller boats, they've introduced the electric engine as well. So I guess they're and all their materials they try and use sustainable materials. So whether it's decking or the table, they're a company that are probably the biggest in electric hybrid production.
You're also spoiled for choice with all your power options and you can get different versions. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, what they did with this boat was to offer not just shaft drive, which is what they're known for, and obviously they needed that with the electric engine and the clutch system, so that had to be on a shaft drive, but they did open the market up. Originally the sales were quite big with the pod engines, the IPS, but it seems to have fallen back, and probably 75% have gone back to the conventional shaft drive, and whether it's electric or just the standard on this boat, as you know, is the Yanmar 370s.
Yeah, thanks very much, Peter.
No worries, mate.
Starting aft, you get this nice 1.3 metre long hydraulic boarding platform that lowers deep into the water for when you're swimming. This whole central moulding can raise to reveal the toy storage garage. You can also have an optional barbecue and wet bar out here, so you can cook out of the wind. This boat has its barbecue on the flybridge. Another nice feature are these twin boarding gates to get into the aft cockpit. This entire aft cockpit is sheltered overhead by the flybridge overhang, which includes some nice mood lighting. You get a teak table on fixed pedestals, a 4-seater lounge. In this case, the flybridge stairs are external. You also get really good access to the side decks. As you walk along the starboard side deck, you find a pantograph door. This gives the skipper access to the bow to tend the fenders and the ropes. There's also a gate when you need to hop off. Very cleverly, it folds in on its own recess so it doesn't intrude on the sideway. This is a big boat feature seen on a 45-footer. The Greenline's bow is equipped to take a very large sun pad that can be covered by its own bimini. Obviously it's yet to be fitted in this case. There's also a generous locker for the ground tackle, with the anchor sitting on a roller outside the hull. Looking aft, you see this one-piece windscreen and also solar panels recessed in the coach roof. Greenline says this is the largest flybridge in its class, and it's certainly nice to feel the fresh air on your face up here. It's covered by a bimini, and there's inbuilt strip lighting in that bimini. There's a wet bar moulding here with your barbecue, has a fridge, also this really nice Alfresco dinette, lots of seating area, plus you get this sun pad. Again, lots of people could spend time up here, and being a European boat you get a flybridge helm as well as a lower helm station. The flybridge helm station is really well appointed. You get these twin screens, you have a compass which is right in the line of sight of the driver. You get the electronic throttles, your side power controls, everything you're going to need. Really good vision over the bow. You can also see down the stairwell to the aft platform. And being on the port side, it's really handy if you're doing a port side tie-up. The galley is aft, right in that entertainment sweet spot. It has this fold-out bench top which creates a breakfast nook or a bar. Twin burner cooktop, electric, has a single sink, a convection microwave underneath, garbage receptacle, and opposite to port is a 224 litre fridge freezer. The saloon is one step up from the galley, which essentially allows more headroom for the lower accommodation deck. This is the world of Italian super yacht designer Marco Casali, and he's done a brilliant job with the styling and the decor. Grey oak in this case, or teak as standard. You get this spectacular 6-seater dinette with a hand-finished, beautiful solid timber table. You get this cabinet to starboard. Inside is a 43-inch TV. European boats still favour a lower helm station, and so do I when the flybridge is open. You're limited in the number of people you can have upstairs in certain conditions, and it's great that the driver can be downstairs where everyone gravitates. Really like the layout. You have twin Simrad screens and all the controls are easily laid out. The accommodation plan allows for a choice of 3 cabins or 2 cabins and 2 bathrooms. The VIP cabin fills this bow area. You get a full-size queen, which allows you to have a standard mattress and bedding. There's 2 metres of headroom, and just look at the amount of natural light that comes flooding through these wraparound windows. The bullocks actually have open cutouts, so you get a water view instead of just a view of a slab of fiberglass. This cabin also has ensuite access to the day head. The master suite is a midships, and the bed is right on the centre line where you have the least amount of rocking. They've really thought about the ergonomics, not just here but right throughout the boat. For example, as you walk in, there's 2.1 metres of headroom. That drops to about 1.83 metres or 6 feet as you walk through this cabin. And actually over the bed you get about 1 metre of height. Lots of light floods through the hull windows and reflects off the mirrored blackboard. Also has a private ensuite with its own shower compartment. In there you find a rainfall shower and a standard wand. Cabin 3 is to starboard. It's basically the width of a double bed, so you'll be climbing in and out over the foot. That's fine because the cabin has loads of headroom when you enter. If you don't need the extra bed, this space can be walk-in robes for both the master and VIP suites. To access the engine room, you drop down through a cockpit hatch. The engines are actually set quite well aft, underneath the cockpit sole, because they run V-drive transmissions. Down here there's an 11 kVA genset, but the 45 can run on its own 600 amp battery bank through an inverter. The shaft drive models have tunnels to reduce the draft, but Greenline also offer IPS drives with flat sections. Greenline has created a hull that goes through the water with minimal drag, which has created lots of power options. Base power starts at 300 horsepower Yanmars, which are good for about 18 knots. And with the 370 horsepower Yanmars fitted here, you can do 25 knots. The boat will be happy travelling at those lower speeds though when you are cruising offshore, and it is remarkably economical. Right now we're doing about 1,000 revs, about 5.5 knots across the ground, and we're burning 1.8 litres of fuel per side. 1,500 revs here, speeds increasing, fuel rate's still less than 10 litres an hour per side, which is just amazing. So most owners are going to be cruising around about that sort of 8 knot mark, maybe 15 knots at sea. But with these semi-displacement hull forms, it is nice that you can get up, you can feel the boat really start to lift and perform. And honestly, it's really fun to drive. Just feel those turbos just starting to kick in now around about that mid 2000 range. There's no bow rise. We've got the Bennett tabs slightly trimmed down. Not much fuel aboard at the moment, but it's running really nicely. Hull seems well balanced. There's quite a bit of fullness forward, so it sort of gets up quite easily. Noticed earlier it wasn't throwing a great deal of spray either. It looks really efficient going through the water. Using vacuum infusion technology, they've kept the hull weight down to 13,500 kilos. Fully weighed with all your fuel, passengers aboard, you'd be around about 18.5 tonnes, which is still really light for a 45-foot flybridge. Right now we're using about 74 litres a side, so a bit under 150 litres total for 25 knots. Really comfortable. Just put the boat through a bit of a spin now. Now it does have shafts, but you notice it just holds on through those corners, feels really nice. Actually turns quite well. Carving a nice little turn. Still got a little bit of lock there. Carries its revs right through these corners. Pricing for the Greenline 45 Fly starts at $1.3 million, but really it's price on application. Greenline has created a more mainstream and modern model here, but it will stand out from the crowd in terms of performance and functionality. I've been really impressed, and I think you will be too. Mark Rothfield for Club Marine TV. See you next time.